Thank you very much, Clayton and Bruce. And I was joking earlier that, for those of you who don't know me, I'll tell you why, but I was joking earlier that if I wasn't here, I would be very upset, because it's been an honor to be watching this amazing organization, Silicon Harlem, grow. Last night, I just had the opportunity, it was really an honor to be at the Al Smith dinner. And it was so much fun to watch two people with the nastiest comments at each other, which is apparently what you're not supposed to. I've never been there before, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be making fun of yourself. They made fun of themselves and the other person in a way that only screen actors who write this stuff can come up with. And I say all that because it's a very strange year. We all wait for this election to be over. But another reason to have this discussion to talk about technology and broadband is once it is over, then we really have to get this item on not just the local agenda, but the national agenda. We have to get funding from Washington to try to do some of the things that are going to be discussed today. But just like everybody else, I want to thank Bruce and Clayton, because they're driving agenda, they're driving their support. What they want is just what all of us want to make every single household in Harlem a connected household. Now, we have been talking about this for a long time, but this organization is going to make it happen. Some of you know that I was chair of the technology committee in the city council, and I spent a lot of time in the early days, 2002 and on, that's like a century ago, in tech world, thinking about these issues. We had a whole different discussion at that time, but the point of it is that we always want an open and transparent government. When you talk about civic tech, which is what I focus on, it really is something that has to be transparent and has to be open so the public knows what you're doing. One of the bills that I passed in the city council I think is relevant today, which is the open data bill. And what that means, it's unique to New York, is that every single city agency has to put their data on a portal. When we passed the law, it said it had to be done by 2018. Some of the agencies have done it, even police department, which is the most desired data. And it's ironic because 2018 seemed like a long time, but now it's coming upon us. And we've been using that data. New York City, some of you know this, is actually the richest data city in the country. And companies move here because of the data. 311 data, the data that comes off of the open portal. So we've been working actually with CUNY students, just the same way in which Silicon Harlem trains students, but we've been working with CUNY students and taking this data and working with them and then going to the community boards. Some of you know we have 59 community boards in New York. Some of you may be on the community boards and 12 in Manhattan. It's great to have a community board, it's great to have data, but if you can't use that data to improve your community, what we're talking about here today, then that data is useless to the neighborhood. And that's easier said than done. We've been working on it 3 years. I can't say it's like this, but we want to be able to, in a community meeting, have a map that tells people what's going on in their neighborhood and what they need to do and where the challenges are. I can't say it's immediate, but I can say that we've been working with these students, and they're learning a lot, the boards are learning a lot. We're still trying to get to that end goal, just like Silicon Harlem is trying to have every single household in Harlem be connected. We're trying to have every single community board be able to know exactly what's going on in their neighborhood because of the data. We also we sit on the Franchise Review Commission. It's one of the agencies that looked at Link NYC, those kiosks. They're okay. We did manage to get a lot more Uptown in terms of what was decided. These are the old phone booths. I can say that they are challenging downtown in the sense that because so many people who are homeless were using them to actually just watch movies all day long, the folks who run them had to turn off the browser, which was unfortunate. But they are Wi-Fi, they are free, they are fast, and they are something that is going to be here in the community because we push to have more in Harlem. I also just want to mention that we're also very concerned about the New York City Housing Authority. There are many developments in the city of New York and many here in Harlem. And when the mayor first announced that there would be free Wi-Fi in Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island, and didn't mention Manhattan, I had a shit fit, to be honest with you. So we will have Jefferson, which is in East Harlem, be one of the 5 which will have free Wi-Fi. this whole issue of free Wi-Fi, Bruce and I and Lou and others in the early 2000s, we thought, New York City should have free Wi-Fi. Well, it didn't work in San Francisco, didn't work in Philadelphia. I know this is history. But we ended up not getting it. And so now we're trying to figure out how does free Wi-Fi, what does that mean? What kind of speed and so on. So we'll have to see what kind of speed and so on goes on at NYCHA. I also just want to mention the schools because we work really hard. We put a lot of money into hardware in the schools. The bandwidth is so slow. You can have 4 high schools in a building or 4 schools in a building, and just making sure that the young people and the teachers can do the work they need to do in that school is still a challenge in 2016. Amen. And so if you go to Korea or other countries, it's a fast response, but the bandwidth is too slow. And again, that may not seem like the #1 issue, but we've been talking about it. It is something we have to deal with, and I won't get into all the intricacies and nuances of dealing with the New York City Department of Education. Simply to say that the schools need not only the hardware and the software and the training, but they need the bandwidth. We also have been working with some of the seniors because I know that the FCC is talking about Lifeline, which would give phone cost of landline service and basic cellular phone service to families or individuals that are close to poverty or in poverty, and it would allow consumers to apply a subsidy to standalone broadband service, as well as bundled voice and data service packages. That's based on the old Lifeline phone, which of course has much more meaning today in a different way. We're also in the schools, to go back to the schools, we believe strongly that, again, back to this data issue, data science, which is being taught in the LA system really successfully. And what that means is you can take the data and learn the math. So you can basically answer, how can we use data and population trends to predict where neighborhood demographics will change? Young people would like to do this. They will then learn about the neighborhood, use the data, and use it to make a difference in their own lives. How can we use data to predict how crime trends will change across the city? How can we predict which police officers may become problem officers before we are forced to be reactive when tragedy strikes? I can tell you that actually happened yesterday, to be honest with you. So all of these ways are how we're trying to make our communities better, which is also part of the broadband discussion, in my opinion. So I want to say we're also, just like everybody else, looking to organizations like Black Girls Code, which Google has embraced, to say bringing young people of color and girls in particular into the discussion of technology and jobs. So I want to say it has been my honor, so more than words can describe, to work with Silicon Harlem. I hope that I can continue to be their partner as we work to bring broadband to everyone here in Harlem. This is going to be a phenomenal conference. I give them unbelievable accolades for bringing us all together, for bringing the right people together. This is a discussion that nobody else is bringing to the city, and there are no words to thank both Clayton and Bruce. Thank you all for being here today, and have a great conference.
Let's give her some love. So those of you who want to come on in and take a seat, feel free as we continue with the program. So I just want to say welcome to everybody as well. And I want to thank our borough president for those wonderful words. And she has been a leader in this space for as long as I can remember and has made a commitment to stay on the grind for this. So we support her 1,000%. We could not be where we are without her. And we do appreciate you, Gale, for everything that you do for this community. I just want to quickly say, and we're going to move on with the program, that we are making a big announcement today. Woo-hoo. Our big announcement is Silicon Harlem is committed to what Gale just alluded to. 100%. Let me give you a statistic. Up to 25% of the households and businesses in Upper Manhattan have zero connection. You walk around our neighborhood around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and you could see young people hanging out trying to get a Wi-Fi connection to do what? Just to finish their homework. What is the matter with us? There's something wrong with that. So Silicon Harlem wants to address that issue. and we're hoping that all of you will get behind this. It's called Connect Uptown NYC. And the whole objective is to get all of us rallied around this initiative in order to ensure that both incumbents and new providers can help us make sure that everyone is connected. The whole world knows that broadband is an essential utility. You can't get employed, you can't, there's so many things that impact your life when it comes to broadband. And most importantly, you're gonna hear about this the rest of the day, so I won't go on, but I will say this. Right now you can there's what I call internet information only. And if you don't have the connection, you don't get the information. This goes back to the old slave days. If you didn't want a slave to know something, you put it in a book because they couldn't read. This is not right. So Silicon Harlem's committed to that. The borough president is helpful to us in that, and we're hoping that all of you will go to this website, which is called connectuptown.nyc. Connectuptown.nyc, and just add your name to the list of voices that are committed to this initiative. This is an initiative that we want to accomplish by 2025, 100% connection. So that is what we hope to rally around all day today. Now I have a great pleasure. I'm a little buzzed because me and my friend celebrated our new relationship. When you meet somebody and there's some people you just click with, I got a new BFF. So we are very honored, however, to have the founder of WeWork here, not only at our conference, but he has made a commitment to Uptown. And he's opening up the very first WeWork in Harlem. And we are excited to have him as part of our community. So you can, if you haven't already, you can go to the website, you can go to our app, you can look up his whole bio and see the great accomplishments he's made on his own, but also the accomplishments that he's created for others. And that's what's so special about WeWork that we don't always hear about, is that they have made a way for young entrepreneurs, for startups, for people that are between jobs to really find some success. And it's been his vision to do that, and we're very excited about partnering with him here in Harlem to continue that legacy. So with no further ado, let me please introduce my new BFF, Adam Neumann. We need more volume.
Hello. That's a great opening. Thank you. Bruce, Clayton. Very impressive. Everyone's coming. Gale. We haven't gotten to know each other well, but we are supportive. We always have been, and we would love to do a lot more things. So for those of you who don't know, WeWork is a New York-based company. My accent is from Israel, but this company is a New York company. This company would have not been possible, and I know that as a fact, to start in any other city in the world. And that's a fact. And the old administration, when we started, which was 7 years ago, recognized us very quickly, and I know some of you that are sitting here were part of it, and very early on said, hey guys, before you grow to other city, we're New York, we're going to help you win here, tell us what you need. One of the greatest things the city has done for us, city's never done us any favors. All the city did for us is educate us. They said, when you want to get a permit, this is the right process. When you have a problem, this is the right process. These are the different contacts that you need to talk to. And sometimes in life, to succeed, all you need to know is who to speak to. And I think one of the nice things that I'm seeing you doing here today is you're bringing a community together. And what is a community? Community is a group of like-minded individuals that understand that being part of something greater than themselves is stronger, that we are better together, that if I treat you the way I want to be treated, well, then we're all going to be better for it. And if we could convince enough people in the world to act like that, well, now we're changing the world. I'm going to say a few words about myself, because for those of you who don't know me, and I think it connects to this also, but born in Israel, came to this country at age 22, right actually after September 11. And immediately my thought was I always wanted to pursue the American dream. But then when I came to America to pursue the American dream was a little confused. And after September 11, the city was very depressed. Coming from a country that has suffered a lot of terrorism, for me that was not a deterrent, it was just an observation. And the first thing I did was join CUNY. I'm a Borough college student. And without CUNY being affordable, I would never have been able to study because I could have not afforded any of the rates of the fancy, great schools. I know we have the Columbia, one of the deans. Great school, but couldn't afford to go there. Would love to. And for the next, thank you, I appreciate that. Truly, I've rekindled my relationship with Borough College and CUNY is actually now growing a lot, and there's a special feeling you feel towards a college that took you in, and we're also very committed to CUNY, and we love the fact that it's City University of New York, and we have a lot of big aspirations and a lot of planning there. And I do know that dealing with education in the city is not simple, but we're not going to give up. But I came here to New York and I was pursuing the American dream, but my mistake was I thought the American dream was pursuing money. You're supposed to go and you run quickly and you do a business and then you make a lot of money. Well, to my surprise, life didn't exactly work out that way. And my first business failed and my second business failed. And the more I was looking for a shortcut, the more I was trying to make money, the less I had. By my third business, when I was quite broke, substantially actually skinnier than I am today, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, not in a good place, I met my then girlfriend, today wife, and she looks at me after literally 2 weeks we hang out and she's like, "You're a big talker, but you're really broke." And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I'm an entrepreneur. I owned the baby clothing at the time that was getting built in Dumbo, Brooklyn. And I said, "No, I'm an entrepreneur." And she said, "No, you're broke." I said, "How do you know?" She said, "When we go to dinner, you wait for me to put out my credit card, and then you put your credit card to split the bill with me." I said, "Maybe it's an Israeli thing, but here in America, once in a while, it is okay to buy your date a meal." And I said, "Well, I understand what you're saying, but my money's in inventory in the baby clothing." She said, "Here's the deal. You know nothing about babies. You're not passionate about, by the way," and it's a side story. Today we have 4 kids, and I know a lot more. And I don't think and this is a side way, but I don't think there's anything more important in life than family and kids. And anybody who doesn't understand that has their priorities confused. And I was just doing something in Boston, speaking in front of a group, and I was asked if the 37-year-old Adam would speak to 21-year-old Adam, what advice would you give? What have you learned? And the only advice I would give is there's not a bigger choice in life that you make than choosing your life partner. Because that partner is the person that's going to bring you up. That partner is the person, when your ego is a little up, that's going to bring you down, which is important. And that partner is your life. That's why it's called a life partner. So take that choice very hard and let everything else fall into place. But she back to her story, she's talking to me and she's saying, they said, "Here's your problem. You're pursuing money. You think success is about that instead of pursuing fulfillment. Instead of actually finding something that there's intention behind it, making sure that it's your do what you love moment, that it's something you're really passionate, bring those two together and success will follow." And by the way, she said, success is about being part of something greater than yourself. It's about having the opportunity to give and receive. And as she says that, I was like, wow, what do you think I should do with all this insight? Sounds very good. I said, well, definitely not baby clothes. I was like, what do you think? She says, well, you walk around looking at buildings like some men look at women. You must really like buildings. And the second thing, you really like bringing people together. You got to do something with buildings and bringing people together. And in 2008, May 2008, in Brooklyn, we started a company called Green Desk, and we had no money, and the world was crashing, and our partner told us that everything was going to go down because when the world crashes, real estate goes down. And we said to our partner, no, we think you're mistaken. When the world crashes, when times are hard, you need community. You need to be surrounded by other people. People are going to get laid off. They're going to want to come to our space. Companies are going to need to get smaller. They're going to come to our space. We think it's going to work very well. And we launched with 7 ads on Craigslist in May of 2008. And within 5 business days, we were 92% full. Within a year and a half, we actually sold that business, not for a lot. We took everything we sold that business for. That was our security deposit in February of 2010, February 15, 2010, to our first Soho building right here in New York City. And we had 1 employee, 3,000 square feet, and 30 members. Today, 6.5 years later, we have about 1,800 employees, mainly here in New York City and around the world, 10 million square feet, 80,000 members. We're in 32 cities, 13 countries, 3 continents, and we're just getting started. And And the reason it's working is because this business, the intention behind it was we're going to bring people together. We're going to teach our members that it's about creating your life's work and not just a living, and it's about doing what you love. And the only thing, if anybody here wants to take with them, is if you're right now not doing something that you're that passionate about, and I could tell you're passionate, Gale, I could see your passion when you're speaking. If you're not that passionate, well, you should find something else to do because you're wasting your time. Because the one thing I'll tell you that I know is true for now, and it's about, we have some friends in Silicon Valley that are trying to change it, but we were all born and came from nothing. So far, we're all intended to die and go back to nothing. And it's what we do in between, that moment that we were born to that moment that we die, that's going to establish us, that's going to affect the world, and that's going to leave a legacy. And that's why you got to cherish every single second. With that, I'm very, very, very happy to announce that we are so supportive of Broadband, of Silicon Harlem, and of the initiative you just said. I will say one thing though, we're a high growth company. 2025 sounds very far, very far. They're gonna have driverless cars by then. They might discover immortality by then. I like more 2020. Sounds a lot more achievable. And Gale, I think, and maybe if WeWork can come behind it a little bit, because there are a lot of things we could do. And I got a few ideas as you're talking, but you know, Google is spending billions of dollars now connecting, and if we'll just be more open-minded to their solution, which is quite good from what we can tell from our buildings around the country, they will fund a lot of this. And I know Time Warner Cable is interested in funding a lot of this. So we need as a team and as a community to commit that connectivity. And you're saying it's one of the important topics. I actually think it's a quite basic one. In today's world, it's almost like drinking water. If you're not connected, you talked about those kids hanging around. Well, if I'm hanging around and I'm not doing my homework, well, then I might be doing some bad things. And it's an important thing that you give me the opportunity to do my homework and to be connected and to have the same competitive advantage as every other city in the world. And it would be crazy to think that New York City is not going to deliver that to its citizens. So I'm committed with you. We're committed to Broadband. We're committed to Silicon Harlem. And let's change this goal to 2020. And let's put some money behind it. Let's put some strength behind it. That's how you build. With that, I just want to, so we are opening our first location. It's 5 West 125th Street. We are extremely, December 1st, opening very soon. We're extremely excited for the opportunity to be able to open it. We also want to be thankful he's not here, but Bobby Carey is the one who actually came to me and said, Adam, Harlem is where it's at, and we're going to do it. I don't know if you know him, but you should. He said, Harlem is where it's at. Take the building. I'll help you because we weren't sure. I'll help you. I'll help fund it. Bring WeWork here. Harlem needs it. WeWork needs it. I got to tell you guys, we're actually filling up extremely fast. There's a thriving community of entrepreneurs right here in Harlem. For those of you who didn't know that, there's a real demand. We're looking forward to partnering with Columbia and doing more in Harlem. And just because we are community first, we want to announce a new initiative that we're going to partner on together that's going to be called Mission Possible. And Mission Possible is an initiative that's going to allow mission-driven companies right here in Harlem to get our ability to sponsor them for anywhere from 3 months to 12 months, not just by helping them afford the space or even giving them the space, but with mentorship, with connections to other members, with access to investors, and with everything that you would need to be very successful in New York City and right here in Harlem. And we've kept a very large amount of the building available for this because we know that if we don't, it will just fill up, and that is not our intention. So we're launching it together. We're doing it in partnership. And Silicon Harlem will share the exact link, but it's we.co/Mission Possible Harlem. And you can sign up immediately, and you can tell your friends or anybody that needs this. We will interview every single company. Space will be limited, but we will do this one at a time. And this is an initiative that we have tried in other cities. We've done it in downtown Brooklyn. It's extremely successful. And it's just, with this, it's just so exciting. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Harlem, and thank you, Borough President.
We can go home now. Did you guys hear that? There's like a lot of loaded in there, right? We're talking about a real commitment here, where we are going to bring in entrepreneurs and startups into this Mission Possible program and give them a real fair shot at success with real resources. And so I couldn't thank WeWork and Adam enough for this vision. And we're going to work our tails off to make sure that everyone in Harlem gets a chance. Everybody come on in. Come on in. Fill in the theater here. So we want everybody to have a seat and relax. Thank you again, Adam, and thanks for being our new neighbor here in Harlem. We really appreciate it. Give him one more hand. I want to quickly move the program along. We've got our panels in place and ready to go. I do want to also acknowledge that the Greater Harlem Chamber has also confirmed that they are behind this new 2020 initiative. So I want to thank the Greater Harlem Chamber. I think Vosa Rivers is here somewhere. There he is right here, who's the first vice president of the chamber. So we've got them on board along with WeWork and others that will be making these announcements throughout the day today. I also want to just quickly mention the sponsors that have been very helpful in this conference. Actively, not just sending their logo, but they've been actively giving us their voice. They include Microsoft, who's been supportive of us from the very beginning. Etsy is here. Metro PCS. Uncharted Play, which will be a $1 billion business here in Harlem. Uncharted Play. I don't know if we have any of those folks here today, but they will be here throughout the day. You'll meet Jessica Matthews later on this afternoon. We've got Horowitz Research here, Yelp, the Boys and Girls Harbor. If you got your conference bags, where are the conference bags? Oh, no. All right, well, anyway, you got these tremendous conference bags. Well, bring me a bag, would you? Someone bring me a bag as quickly as possible. And we have a company, Mochify, who's a new fintech company located here in Harlem as a sponsor. The West Harlem Development Corporation, who's been with us for a while. The Peace Boat, our great new friends and partners, another BFF in Link NYC. If you don't know, we just lit a new Link NYC kiosk on 125th and 8th. So they are lighting up Harlem. Okay, well, I just got to show one thing that's in this bag. This is why I think you should go into this bag and check it out. This is something really, really special here. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, but I got to plug my own thing. Like, you can go to one of these conferences and get a nice hat or a T-shirt, maybe a USB, stuff like that, and all those are cool things. But when can you come and get a pair of socks? What? Oh my goodness! Quality socks. Check it out, Lucian. So all you guys are gonna get one of those. Let me continue. Baratuna, who's bringing the wine, which is great. The Greater Harlem Chamber, and of course Verizon. And there may be others that you'll see on the screen here as we go, because I can't remember everybody. But the next session we have coming, and there's a lot of sessions today, so I hope you get to see as much as you can. Just to highlight a few, we're getting ready to see some real research about the divide, which is really important to start the day with, so we all kind of have a benchmark. But you're going to have the main plenary after that, led by the great Andrew Roger, who's one of our tremendous investors, who will be moderating the Why Broadband Matters. It's an all-star roster of speakers. And a full day. You can check it out on your mobile device by going to our mobile website, or if you've downloaded our app, you'll see the whole schedule. So with no further ado, let me bring up the team of researchers and scholars that are going to give you a quick look at the divide. It includes Adriana from Horowitz Research. You guys start coming on up as I call your name. John Horrigan from the great Pew Research, top researcher in this country. And Olivia Sylvain, if he's made it in or not. There he is. Okay, so let's get this panel going. Thank you guys very much.